Hello everyone, I am BowserJrXD. Welcome to the Tokyo ePrix number 1, race 8 of 16 for Formula E in 2025. It is 2 in the morning here on the East Coast, and I am back at home with the parents for now, so I've got to be quiet as hell to do these broadcasts, which sucks because the next 5 Formula E races, including this one, are in Asia. So 2, 3, and 4 a.m. broadcasts. Also doesn't bode well for the European Formula 3 and Formula 2 forecast of 2 races. But I'm going to make it work, especially for my first race back after I graduated. Okay, so from what I understand, there is a rain delay going on right now in Tokyo, which will delay the start of the race. I see the car, well, people are at the grid, but the cars are not lined up. Or that was old, stuff. So, I'm still hearing, I think, okay, this looks like they're on the grid now. So I'll go over the starting lineup. So they did not do qualifying, so the grid was set by free practice to position timing. Starting 22nd, driving the number 21. Oh, hold on. This is the wrong thing. Starting 22nd, driving the number 27 Andretti Porsche for Andretti Formula E. 29 years old, from Nuneaton, United Kingdom, Jake Dennis. Starting 21st, driving the number 51 Andretti Porsche for Andretti Formula E. 33 years old, from Thun, Switzerland, Nico Muller. That was not a good place for me to really put on my video, except, there we go. But it's not much of a video. Starting 21st, driving the number, it's a dumb. Starting 20th, driving the number 3, Kiro Porsche for Cooper Kiro. 25 years old, from Iserlohn, Germany, David Beckman, the first of the 3 rookies. Starting 19th, driving the number 9, Jaguar for Jaguar TCS Racing. 30 years old, from Auckland, New Zealand, Mitch Evans. Starting 18th, driving the number 11, Lola Yamaha for Lola Yamaha ABT Formula E team. 40 years old, from Sao Paulo, Brazil, Lucas Degrassi. Starting 17th, driving the number 1, Porsche for Tag Heuer Porsche Formula E team. 30 years old, from Sigmaringen, Germany, Pascal Vorlein. Starting 16th, driving the number 22, Lola Yamaha for Lola Yamaha, maybe it's apt Formula E team. 21 years old, from Bridgetown, Barbados, Zane Maloney. And he's the second rookie. Starting 15th, driving the number 55, Maserati for Maserati MSG Racing. 30 years old, from Birmingham, United Kingdom, Jake Hughes. Starting 14th, driving the number 2, Maserati for Maserati MSG Racing. 30 years old, from Kortrijk, Belgium, Stoffel van Doorn. Starting 13th, driving the number 37, Jaguar for Jaguar TCS Racing. 30 years old, from Auckland, New Zealand, Nick Cassidy. Starting 12th, driving the number 8, McLaren Nissan for Nia McLaren Formula E team. 38 years old, from Roehampton, United Kingdom, Sam Bird. Starting 11th, driving the number 13, Porsche for Tag Heuer Porsche Formula E team. 33 years old, from Cascais, Portugal, Antonio Felix da Costa. Starting 10th, driving the number, now in the top 10, starting 10th, driving the number 4, Envision Jaguar for Envision Racing. 33 years old, from Maastricht, Netherlands, Robin Freins. Starting 9th, driving the number 7, DS for DS Penske. 27 years old, from Oberstdorf, Germany, Maximilian Gunther. Starting 8th, driving the number 25, DS for DS Penske. 35 years old, from Pontoise, France, Jean-Eric Verne. Starting 7th, driving the number 33, Kiro Porsche for Cooper Kiro. 25 years old, from London, United Kingdom, Dan Ticktum. Starting 6th, driving the number 16, Envision Jaguar for Envision Racing. 36 years old, from Eigel, Switzerland, Sebastian Buemi. Starting 5th, driving the number 21, Mahindra for Mahindra Racing. 30 years old, from Wellingerga, Netherlands, Nick de Vries. Starting 4th, driving the number 5, McLaren Nissan for Nia McLaren Formula E team. 20 years old, from Norwich, United Kingdom, Taylor Barnard. Starting 3rd, driving the number 17, Nissan for Nissan Formula E team. 32 years old, from Caen, France, Norman Nato. And of course, the driver before him, Taylor Barnard, is the highest rating rookie. Outside pole, driving the number 48 Mahindra for Mahindra Racing, 38 years old from Geneva, Switzerland, Eduardo Mortara. And on the pole, driving the number 23 Nissan for Nissan Formula E team, 32 years old from Barnsley, United Kingdom, Oliver Rowland. That is your starting lineup for today's. Tokyo ePrix.
Confidence, because he also had a big moment in Monaco as well, coming into the race today, given the conditions as well.
Well, at least he's starting at the front. I mean, it was a massive impact that we saw yesterday. I was so grateful to see that he was okay, because it was a very fast and big impact.
Racetrack length is 1.6 miles or 2.575 kilometers. Scheduled distance is 33 laps, 52 miles or 85 kilometers. Rounded a little bit.
Why not? Go on then, Katie.
I'm going to change it from the
It's not raining, but the track is wet, so that'll be interesting to see if people pit. Another thing to or if they what tires will start on. Another thing to note: this is a doubleheader weekend, so we'll also see drivers having to do pit boost. I wonder if that will be an opportunity to change the tires if they can make their tires last that long. There's another wrinkle in the equation.
In Tokyo, nothing is but
Alright, so now that we're at the halfway point in the season, I'm going to start, no, I'll give it another next race. I'll start going over the points and pertinent championships. But Formula E has 3 championships. The first one is obvious, the drivers. However, what finishes the highest is the champion. Duh. There's also the team's championship, just like the constructors from Formula One. The highest performing team will get that one. And then it breaks down further for manufacturer, with the best 2 results per manufacturer per race. Of the 6 manufacturers, Porsche, Jaguar, Nissan, Stellantis, which is the combination of DS and Maserati, Mahindra, Lola Yamaha. So you got a couple cars on the track. Maybe those are trying to suss out the conditions. We see a lot of the cars are already lined up. And we have a safety car out. Now, Formula E does not do a rolling start, nor does it do formation laps. So I wonder how this is interesting. So there's Dan Ticktum, and I can't remember what car the other car was. I saw also making a lap. See one of the Lola Yamahas, that's Zane Maloney, the number 22. Look like fussing over one of the Jaguars. I think that's Mitch Evans of the number 9. When we say Jaguars been off to a miserable start to the season, there's one of the Andrettis. That is Jake Dennis, the 2023 Formula E champion, or the season 9 champion. And Nico Muller, his teammate, is following him. Of course, these two were making up the back row of the field, row 11. Is Beckman just running a different paint scheme compared to Ticktum? Because that's interesting. Actually, wait a minute. The car I saw, the 3, that's Beckman, not Ticktum. I forget.
this one on pole position. He was the quickest man in free practice too, and as such, he lines up at the head of the grid for a second weekend in succession.
Looks like maybe there's a little more time than I thought before they're going to start the race.
Now, after the halfway stage of the season, mathematically, he can still be overtaken in the Drivers' World Championship this weekend for the lead by the likes of Pascal Wehrlein and Antonio Felix da Costa, but it is going to be a very tall order for those drivers, especially given the fact that the two Tag Heuer Porsches are quite far down the order on the grid. Antonio Felix da Costa starting...
No rain forecasted for approximately 2 hours and 50, so track should dry. Well, yeah, that's typically how it works. In the absence of rain, the ambient temperature of the world or of the area should naturally cause evaporation within the atmosphere, thus resulting in the absence of reduction of moisture. That is how the water cycle works. No, evaporation, condensation, precipitation, runoff, accumulation, rinse, and repeat.
I think the drivers will play it safe into turn one. It's very little grip, very slippery, and of course you don't want to crash in the first corner. But at the same time, it might be an opportunity to overtake some cars.
Absolutely, yeah. There is going to be a lot of unpredictability going into this race, as we said, especially with the jumbled up grid order. The two Tag Heuer Porsches quite far down.
All right, what time was Formula 3 later? 4 o'clock. Oh, set it for 3:45.
Mitch Evans only 19th. That's his second worst starting position on the season 11 calendar. So, James Rossiter, what are you expecting for this race? Because, as we said, jumbled up order, lots of unpredictability in terms of the conditions, and seemingly, if the rain doesn't return, a drying circuit for the drivers to contend with as well.
Action, attack mode being critical to the success, and Edo Mortara to win.
Okay, all right, I like that. Going bold with it. You can see 10 minutes to go until the race starts. So, Edo Mortara, second quickest in free practice too. He lines up on the front row of the grid. That's one place better than where he started last year here in 2024. He actually finished inside the
Make sure my alarm is set.
for a technical infringement. His teammate Nick de Vries, who was on the podium at 4 months ago in Monaco, lines up in fifth place on the grid, just in front of the Envision, the teammate of this man here, of Sebastian Buemi, who is 6th place on the grid. So we'll see how Buemi is going to fare. This is Robin Freitz, who lines up just on the fringes of the top 10. And he's the man that won 12 months ago.
Oh, we've had only one winner at Tokyo because the race was introduced last year. That was Maximilian Gunther, who that was in the Maserati. He's now in the Penske, the S Penske, essentially the factory Stellantis car, compared to the essentially the customer Stellantis car.
That they're going to have in the first part of the race. Their best opportunity is to make their pit boost stop as early as possible, get themselves in some clear air or clear visibility, I would say, is going to be key, if that's even possible. And if not, then the only thing they can do is stay out of trouble.
Okay.
Wait for some attrition.
We've been waiting for
Hearing that there will be a start under the safety car.
Will start under a safety car. Sensible decision there, because of course they've not had any wet weather running in terms of the conditions like this since free practice 2 this morning. Of course, we'd all love to see a standing start, Andre, but safety's in the best interest of all drivers.
Yeah, you say that, but I never really understood why. Or sometimes, yes, it is safer, but in this case, starting still, there would be less spray and therefore more visibility into turn one, rather than having the cars going at a higher speed altogether into turn one. So, yeah, I think it would have been nice to see them standing start.
Yeah, we should be hearing from the race director very shortly as well, Marek Hanichevsky, talking to all of the drivers, and hopefully we'll get an insight into exactly what is going to happen, whether it will start under the safety car and then whether we'll get a standing start later on, or whether it will be indeed a rolling start once the safety car peels in. As soon as the safety car pulls away from the grid, that is the race started, essentially. So I would imagine it will be a rolling start from there, but you never know, the race director might decide something different.
Yeah, especially, it's a bit of a shame because we've got four-wheel drive in these cars and they have it for the launch of the line. And it would be amazing to see them actually have a standing start in these conditions. So yeah, a little bit disappointing from my side as well. As Andre was saying, it would be great to see a standing start. But I do understand it a bit from race control side, because to break late going into turn one, it would be rather difficult.
Yeah, there is a possibility, as we said, that there could be a standing start as well.
Attention everyone, this is race control speaking. As you have seen, we have switched on the safety car lines. So it means that we will do safety car start. And I assume we will do the couple of laps behind safety, and then we will decide in which direction we will go to start this race. Thank you very much, and I wish you good luck.
Well, there are various fingers and toes crossed here in the commentary box that we get a standing start for this one. So we'll wait and see what race direction decide after this one. But a height of activity you can see down there on the grid. I have to say, half an hour ago, if you'd asked me if this race was going ahead, I'd have said absolutely no way. But conditions have dramatically improved. The rain has almost stopped. The wind is still quite strong, but not as strong as it was. And as such, we are now going to be getting a race underway, which is fantastic news. Pit boost for the first time in wet conditions, Andre. How do you think the drivers and the teams are going to play this one as well?
Well, they have to wait until they reach 60% of state of charge, and then they can go into pit boost. So let's see if they try to anticipate that into trying to burn a bit more energy or regen a bit less. So they come in earlier, meaning that in case there is a full course yellow, then they can open up their window and benefit from this. So I'm sure every team is thinking of that, and let's see. But the bigger aspect, I think, will be for sure the attack mode, especially in the wet. There's so much more traction on four-wheel drive. I think maybe like 3 or 4 seconds a lap faster. So you don't want to hit attack mode while there's a full course yellow, because that will definitely kill your chances to gain those positions.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We saw a couple of weeks ago in Monaco when we had the wet race on Sunday that the attack mode was hugely beneficial. Big differentiation in performance. So it'll be critical for the drivers here this weekend to make sure that they manage that attack mode correctly and the team's full strategy right. Shout out also to the fans here this weekend. Though it's been blowing a gale all day and raining cats and dogs here, they've all managed to stay firm and some even staying in the grandstands throughout the entirety of the day here. And yeah, hugely impressive dedication from the Japanese fans, because they want to see their home team, Nissan, doing well here this weekend.
Well, of course. I mean, it would be great for all the fans if Oliver and Nissan continue their great form today. But in these conditions, nothing is guaranteed.
No doubt about it. What about Taylor Barnard as well? He was in the wall in FP1 yesterday in the dry conditions, lost it in the early stages of that session. Basing himself up into 4th quickest for FP2. That's where he lines up on the grid for this one. So see what the rookie is going to be able to do. Let's have a closer look, though, at the track here in Tokyo and guide you through it.
Still waiting for the race to start.
Second visit to
Here we go.
this particular venue located on the big site complex, and keen to see what is going to happen for this one. 2.575 kilometres. The circuit's actually been reprofiled a little bit in the first sector to open it up. Attack mode will be activated in this long left-hander of turn 4. The first sector actually quite tight and twisty, Andre, but then it really opens up.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tight and twisty track in general. Well, there's not that much space here in Tokyo, so great job.
We're on the Tokyo, I think, it's about an exposition center on the waterfront of Tokyo, on the Pacific Ocean.
Approaching turn 16, they removed the chicane, so this is also an area which is much faster, and we've seen drivers being caught out. But yeah, it's great to see improvements on the track, and yeah, this is exactly turn 16 where Taylor Barnard crashed, and then onto the last start and finish, and yeah, lap of Tokyo. Great that we have Formula E here.
Certainly is. Well, let's guide you through the grid then.
Andre Lauderer seems really awkward to me in the booth.
A weekend so far for Andretti. Jake Dennis and Nico Müller lining up right at the back of the field. Then it's David Beckman and Mitch Evans. That's his lowest starting position since Sao Paulo, where he came from last first back in December. Then you've got Lucas de Grassi, Pascal Wehrlein, the reigning world champion, his lowest starting spot in Formula E since Portland 2023. Zane Maloney and Jake Hughes lining up just up ahead of him. Then it's Stoffel Van Dorn and Nick Cassidy. He got his first podium in Monaco for Jaguar TCS Racing last time out. Sam Bird lines up 12th with Antonio Pintos da Costa, who narrowly missed out on a podium here last year, lining up just outside the top 10 in 11th. And the top 10 on the grid then. Robin Bright, he finished 13th here last year after some contact in the race. He'll be seeking his third points finish of the season. Next up is Maximilian Günther, last year's race winner. He lines up 9th and aiming for his second win of the 2025 season. Then you've got Dan Ticktum, who lines up with his third successive top 10 start. Sebastian Buemi, his first win in 78 races last time out in Monaco, with Nick de Vries just in front. He's aiming for his fourth top 5 start in 4 races. Taylor Barnard, no points in Monaco and in the wall in FP1. He's got Norman Nato in company, and he'll be seeking his first podium of season 11, the Frenchman from third on the grid. Eder Mortara started third here last year, but it was disqualified after a technical infringement, so he'll be hoping to make right the wrongs. And Oliver Rowland has his second successive pole here in Tokyo, aiming for his 4th win of the season and to extend his 48-point lead in the Drivers' Championship. So, a safety car start then for the drivers. As soon as the safety car peels off from the grid, that means the race is underway. The formulary
Yeah,
predictor
Roland predicted 68%
reckon
chance
that
to win.
Oliver
Yeah, no
Rowland
shit.
is going to be quids in for the victory this year.
He's the points leader. He's ahead by over a race and a half,
Great chance, hasn't he?
I think.
Especially with the safety car
And
start, gives him already advantage
he's
on
and he's
so,
got the pole because
yeah,
of his practice speed.
it will be
Cars are
difficult
rolling
for him
off the
to
grid
force anything
now.
with the spray that we're going to see until that attack mode starts to be activated.
Yeah, I wonder now if the drivers try to burn more energy during the safety car, because that's an
That is
opportunity.
a wet ass track. I don't know how they'll get speed, honestly, here, given how how much the open wheel just, or racing in general, just doesn't race on wet surfaces anymore.
Up and in the correct window.
Yeah, which in normal case you don't do, because you want to save as much energy as possible on a dry race, because we even practice to really be very efficient during safety car, not to consume. But yeah, here in this case you want to burn a bit more because the race is not energy costly.
Yeah, it's not so sensitive, is it, at this point for the drivers? There's a lot more freestyle involved at this under this safety car.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 32 kilowatt hours of energy for the drivers. They'll be taking on an extra 3.85 kilowatt hours in the pit boost phase of the race as well. This is through turn 9 here. You can see the red tarmac, actually incredibly grippy there, but a fast and fierce corner in the dry. Even in the wet, we saw drivers sliding around like a dog on a polished floor. So we'll see what it's like once we get racing conditions underway. We understand from some communications here in commentary that we're likely to get a couple of laps behind the safety car, and then the probability is that we will have a standing start, which is music to our ears.
We can pray for it. That would be a brilliant way to start this race.
Maybe they've listened to us.
Yeah, well, 2 laps fewer then here in this race as it stands for now. But you can see the drivers making their way around. This is through turn 16, where we've seen quite a few grazing the wall on the outside.
But what's great is it doesn't seem to be that much standing water. That
Still
was the
waiting.
problem that we had in the qualifying session where it was cancelled.
I think it's a 17 turn track.
We're looking really good here for a nice fun race.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Down towards turn 1, caught a lot of drivers out in practice this morning. Let's see what it looks like when the lights go out, if we do indeed get that standing start on 22 of the world's best barrel down towards that first corner. This is through turns 2 and turn 3. This was a big jump last year, if you remember watching that race. They've actually reprofiled and actually tarmacked that corner now, because the drivers and the teams were complaining not only about the bad backs, but also about the batteries as well. They were getting some related issues with that, so that's why they've decided to reprofile that first sector entirely.
Yeah, it's not the kind of thing you're trying to develop in your reliability test during the test of for the manufacturer's development. So yeah, the powertrains are not built for that. The last time we took air in another racetrack, that was in Rome. That was quite impressive as well. But yeah, good that they fixed it.
Yeah, no doubt. Into turns 10 and 11, very tight and twisty chicane. As we look at Taylor Barnard making his way through in 4th place. I have to say, he's going to be ecstatic that he's so far up the grid, given how yesterday went for him. Lost 25 minutes of running in FP1, courtesy of that heavy impact into the barrier. The team working very hard to replace quite a few parts on the car ahead of practice this morning. Meanwhile, you might be wondering why Andretti are quite so far down, as one of the that's Oliver Rowland's daughter there, isn't it? As a matter of fact, in the Nissan pit box, watching his dad race on. But just going back to my point about the 2 Andrettis, Nico Müller and Jake Dennis, we understand the team
Now on the second lap,
focusing on wet weather.
still under safety car. Or no, we finished 2 laps under safety car. We're on our 3rd.
And that's why they weren't able to set quick lap times, and that is why they are mired right down in 25
teams that some of them thought that the race would actually be started in championship order. So I'm not sure if it was just also a misunderstanding of the sporting regulations also for some of the teams that aren't as far up the grid as we would expect.
Yeah, we've just had confirmation that it will be a standing start then for the drivers, which is fantastic news. Tommaso Volpe, meanwhile, he was delighted here 12 months ago when Oliver Rowland stuck it on pole position.
He looks rather nervous for a chap who's got 2 cars in the top 3.
Focused.
Well, who knows what's going to happen when the lights go out, and crucially what will the order be when the checkered flag falls. How do you play this from a driver's perspective, Andre? You sat there in the car, you've got all this anticipation, you're now behind the safety car, but it's a step into the unknown in terms of the conditions, the pit boost, and so on and so forth. How do you manage it?
Well, you're communicating with your team, so everything, every scenario has been thought through. Like you see now, all the drivers are trying to create a lot of wheel spin to get temperature in the tires, and yeah, maybe burn some energy, but mostly temperature in the tires for that standing start. And it's an opportunity for everybody to jump someone. If you get those few degrees extra temperature, will make the tire a bit softer, meaning a little bit more grip.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking there at Dan Ticktor making his way through in 7th place. He was a standout performer in Monaco a fortnight ago. Led in FP1, led in FP2, and then just got unlucky in qualifying on the Saturday to not progress forwards from the quarterfinals of qualifying, and then actually on the Sunday got through into the duels again, but a mistake from the team meant that he went out in the duels with 300 kilowatts of power instead of the usual 350, and of course no four-wheel drive in the wet conditions as well, and it cost him dear.
Yeah, that is a huge loss, but
Attention everyone,
it's,
this is race control
Safety
speaking.
cars in this
Safety
lap,
car in this
so they're
lap.
on the 4th
We will
lap,
do
so
standing
that
start.
means
We
at
will do
least
standing
a
start.
maximum 31 laps of
hopefully
green.
everyone finds their positions, because not so easy to see in the wet on this new asphalt, which it seems quite shiny. But yeah, hopefully they will park in the right place.
It's going to be a big challenge actually for the teams and the systems, because I don't think they've done that many wet starts.
Well, they've done one at the end of FP2, so the advantage is that on full and four-wheel drive and 350 kilowatts for the start. No, not this four-wheel drive at the start. Sorry, with only 300 kilowatts, it's full traction control. So you have the best systems. I think in the dry there's not that many differences, but in the wet it's definitely going to be something tricky for the teams to set the right amount of grip. When we start a race, the engineer tells you, okay, go grip 3, for example. It's different for every team, but yeah, they will have to guess a little bit.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see who has managed to time this right. We have had one wet race in Formula E, and a bit like London buses, 2 have come along at once, because we had a wet race last time out in Monaco on the Sunday, and now the very next race, it is, as you can see, very wet out there for the drivers. So safety car is now coming in at the end of this lap. Oliver Rowland will lead the grid round to their starting positions. We're on board here with Norman Nato, his teammate, who lines up directly behind him in 3rd position. Nato's been on great form so far this weekend, as the drivers now crawl their way around the final corner and make their way on to the starting grid for the first time here this weekend. So we've done 4 laps under the safety car, haven't we now? So presumably we'll get some added laps on at the end of the race, courtesy of the
We
fact
shall
that we're
see.
in under safety car conditions for...
Okay, oh, so they're going to have a standing start in addition to that? Oh, that's interesting.
Edo Mortara and Mahindra lining up directly alongside Norman Nato, then Taylor Barnard. And it's anticipation and nervous stations for both teams and the drivers as they make their way on to the starting grid here. Taylor Barnard takes a wipe of the visor there, just to try and get as clear a view as he can down towards the first corner. What about Jaguar and the likes of Mitch Evans as well as Nick Cassidy? Cassidy lining up 13th on the grid, Evans right down in 19th position. Can he make some inroads in this race? Keep an eye out as well for the 2 Andrettis in 21st and 22nd place.
All right, lights on. No, lights are flash. Oh, they're not ready yet.
About to get underway then, remaining here currently. Stoffel Van Dorn there for the Maserati MSG team as the final drivers make their way onto the grid. I don't know about them on the grid and in the pit box, James, but I'm nervous here in the commentary box.
I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in this turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. It's so tight down there. They're going to be arriving
Okay.
so fast. This is going to be super exciting.
It certainly is then. So there is Jake Dennis right at the back of the field. The green flag is waved at the back.
Okay.
The second flag falls. Who is going to be fast and who is going to be
Lights
furious?
on. 3, 4, 5. Lights are off. We are green in Tokyo. And they are off. In the wet. So I think Roland's in the lead. 3 wide for second place. They head into the first turn. Ooh. Barnard side by side with Nano. Oh, we got cars almost slipped into the wall. I think that was might have been Beckman I saw. And one of the Maseratis, which is probably Hughes. Wow, one of the Envision's taking attack mode already. Yeah, they're slipping, or maybe, okay, maybe it wasn't attack mode, maybe just going, it's like, oh, one of the Mahindras almost run into the wall. All right, Roland is in the lead. Mortara second. Barnard is third.
He wants to get into the lead of this race as soon as possible.
No, 3. So yeah, I was right. Buemi took attack mode, 4 minutes. Antonio Felix da Costa and Mitch Evans took 4 minutes. I gotta wonder, attack mode in wet conditions has to be so treacherous.
Yeah, also, the quicker you can get to the front, the more you can see, better visibility, less chance of a mistake. So it's quite an interesting approach by those guys.
Certainly is. Oliver Rowland, Team Radio.
So Buemi activated 4 minutes is down to P8.
P6
So for him, 4 seconds.
So it's 4 seconds. I'm assuming he's saying that's the time he lost.
He's 4 seconds behind at the moment, and we've seen 4 seconds a lap faster in these conditions with the attack mode compared to the standard mode in free practice 2.
Well, look at him now. He's all over the back of Norman Nato, and it's going to be an easy pass as he comes out of the final corner. 4-wheel drive traction and an extra 50 kilowatts of power. Buemi is up and into 4th place then ahead of...
All right, Buemi to 4th over Norman Nato.
You also have a lot more gain because there's no tire.
We're on the 6th lap now.
You get even more because potentially later during the race, everyone has got a bit.
Got another, I think that's a Mahindra and another Envision. So Frines, De Vries, and Frines. De Vries took 2 minutes, Frines took 4. Jean-Eric Verne takes 4. Maximilian Gunther takes 4. Stoffel Van Dorn takes 4.
We ride with Sebastian Buemi through that fast and fierce turn 9. Big snap of oversteer, just about keeps it out the wall. That was close though.
He's still got a lot of confidence from Monaco, I think, in these conditions. Great to see.
Through into the chicane comes Buemi. His next target will be Taylor Barnard, and you can visibly see how much faster he is. Despite the fact he's in 4-wheel drive, he is still fighting the car. It's dancing around like he's doing the waltz on this Tokyo circuit. Into turn 15. A little bit deep on the brakes there, just about manages to pick it up, but he's got a great slingshot out the corner on the Neon McLaren here. Don't think he's going to think about a move into turn 16 unless he fancies a trip to the wall on the outside, but lining something up through the final corner would be a very welcome possibility here for Sebastian Buemi. And look at the extra traction and performance that he is going to have over the Briton as he exits out the final turn and will blast alongside the Neon McLaren driver down to the first corner. Has he got the grip under the brakes? And into turn 1, side by side they go. Buemi's got the inside line, he's got track position, he's got third.
What's interesting to see is Seb is actually not that much faster than the guys at the front. And you can see Roland and Mortara with that clear visibility. They're able to keep quite a good pace up at this point of the race.
Yeah, they've really tried to push on at the front of this one, haven't they? They're in the low 1:31s. Everybody else behind that's not in the
All right.
sort of in the mid to high 1:32s at the moment. So they're just trying to make hay while the sun shines.
So here's a point score. The points right now. Let's see. Roland is in the lead. Mortara second. Buemi now up to third ahead of Barnard, who's run out of attack. No, Barnard never took attack mode. De Vries fifth. Frines 6th, Nato 7th, Verne 8th, Tixon 9th, and Bird in 10th.
His first attack mode deployment then here as well. Frines with a couple of minutes left. Nato with another minute and a half over the Dutchman. Let's have a look at Buemi on board with him then. What are we looking at here? This is just going through into turn 9. This is the snap of oversteer we saw, so he's got a lot of lock on.
Ooh, yeah, so that was what they showed originally. There's Buemi touring around the outside of Mortara, or inside of Mortara for second place.
Nicely done there for Sebastian Buemi, so up through and into second place. He is right in the crest of a wave. There is a confident driver behind the wheel of that Envision, and he is really trying to make inroads. But is it going to pay off for him? Has he gone too early with that attack mode? And has Roland been able to build out enough of an advantage over Buemi? Let's have a look at the energy for the first time then here, because of course when you're in attack mode, you're spending more energy compared to those who haven't deployed it. Buemi, though, he's got relatively similar amounts of energy remaining to Oliver Rowland, despite having 50 kilowatts and four-wheel drive power underneath him.
But in this case, it's you look at the
Barnard
energy
takes
indicator
attack
with Tom, so
mode.
who is going to have
Or is
the
that
pit
Bird?
boost window open the
No, that's
soonest?
Barnard.
It looks like Van Dorn is the first one that will be able to
He took
go into the pit.
4 minutes.
Yeah, so through into the left-hander then. So Tara's gone for his attack mode. Behind Buemi is now. De Vries also right behind him. So De Vries will do a good job here to try and play rear gunner to Eder Mortara, because the Dutchman has already launched his first attack mode deployment. So I wonder if the team are trying to play a strategic game here, trying to keep those drivers behind of Barnard, Freitz, Nato, etc., all of whom are in attack mode, at bay as best they possibly can.
What we're seeing here with everyone in attack mode, you don't get the offset against the other person because you're all in four-wheel drive. It's very difficult to then overtake the car in front. You're in a bit of a train.
Ooh, contact there with Buemi and Mortara in the pass for second place.
Speed is pretty clear. There is Sebastian Buemi against Eder Mortara. Mortara is going to be right up the gearbox, though.
Mortara has attack mode. Let's see if he can get by the number 16 Envision.
He's got to be pretty swift about this one because he's only got less than a minute left of attack mode remaining. I think it'll be pretty easy pickings for Mortara versus
Mortara gets a spot. Now can he catch up to Roland? We have a yellow flag. Now it's been withdrawn. Buemi does not get a good exit out of one.
It'll be interesting to see how much inroads Mortara can make on Roland now. Now that he's got clear air.
No, Renato has 1 minute left on his current run. Mortara has 30 seconds.
Because we can see the guys are losing around 1.5, 2 seconds when they activate the attack mode. If Edo can get into that 2-second window, will he be able to pass Oliver when Oliver goes to take his attack?
Yeah, that is the crucial question there for Eder Mortara. He's only got 15 seconds left of that attack mode, so
Zane Maloney takes 4 minutes.
Played an absolute blinder here for Mahindra, though. Look at how much he's been able to back up Barnard and Nato, who are all still in attack mode, those two drivers at the moment. But he's built out enough of a gap, enough of a buffer for the Swiss driver to just not be threatened by them behind. And you can see it's really working out quite nicely, not only for Mortara, but also for Buemi here as well.
It's a lot track position race now, so the benefit from Buemi was really track position, not necessarily time, because we see Nato has done the best lap time, but maybe he doesn't get in as much as track position as Buemi did.
Barnard on De Vries for 4th place. He's had to use up a lot of minutes. A big slip from Barnard, but the power still gets him the spot. P4. Nato is out of attack mode.
And in his favorite corner as well, so he was definitely not scared to go close to the wall, so yeah, his confidence is back.
Fantastic. I love Taylor Barnard. Watching him drive is just something spectacular. We've got a slippery surface flag down at turn 8, so that's
Lap
just before
10.
the fast right of turn 9. I assume that's due to the standing water on the circuit. Let's have a look at a replay here for Da Costa at the start of the race. I think he's going to have a bit of contact there with Günther. He just
Nudged him a little bit.
Oh, so it wasn't a Porsche, it was a Maserati. Damn it, I've been making that mistake all season.
Not much in the way of visibility. And straight into the rear diffuser of him. He did make a little bit of contact there also with Van Dorn.
Tricky situation, that one going down turn 1.
Okay, we have similar energy than most of the cars, apart from 2 cars with 4% less.
So, it's working out quite nicely there for Oliver Rowland. He has not used an attack mode deployment at the moment, but the gap over 3 seconds still to Eder Mortara. So, he's got enough of a margin in his pocket to take that first attack mode, and in theory, as long as it all goes well, still retain the lead.
Well, we've seen a lot of excitement around the attack modes, but soon we're going to get into the pit boost window, and then we're going to see a whole load of strategies unveil, and that's going to be super exciting.
All right, 11. We're now on the 11th lap. 25 to go.
And Barnard 40-second gap, 7 points.
Stop talking to me in the corners.
Wow.
High level of concentration going on there by Oliver Rowland.
That's
We all don't like
snappy.
that. When you focus in the
Also
corner, you
noticed
want
that
the
on the
engineer to go
Nissan
to
they
a
have
straight line, but
8-bit
it's not so easy.
cherry
The
blossom.
engineer wants to pass you some
That's a nice
important information.
detour design. Oliver Rowland still has a big lead in it. So let me check the leaderboard for that. Oh shoot. Okay, it wasn't. So 3.7-second lead. And he still hasn't used either any of his attack mode.
After being stationary for 34 seconds. You can see there on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, man through one pit stop per driver. Runs at 600 kilowatts, the ultra-fast energy boost that gives them an extra 10% energy over that 34-second pit stop. Van Dorn, the first driver to blink. Here he is in the box.
All right, Stoffel Van Dorn gets his pit boost.
So he'll be out of sync compared to everybody else at the moment, but of course it'll all work out in the long game.
Jake Hughes took 4 minutes. Nico Miller took 4 minutes of attack mode.
He will literally be in a sprint until the others will take their pit boost so that he can try and get the track position that Andre was mentioning is so important.
Swearline's not made too many inroads in this race, down in 19th, but he has got 2 attack mode deployments available. Is that a cause for concern, do you think?
I wouldn't be concerned at this point, no.
He's got a lot more energy compared to other drivers around him, at least.
There's a long way to go and a lot of things can happen in this race.
See Oliver Rowland, his race results so far in 2025. He has been in imperious form so far this year. His consistency has really been the making of him. The only blots on his copybook was back in Sao Paulo in December, where he didn't get a points finish, and that wasn't his fault. He got a penalty, as did a number of the Nissan Power cars in that race. Ever since then, though, he's just been pretty much untouchable.
No, he's been on great form, and
Wow.
he's really commanding this race. Just set the fastest lap.
No one else is even close to Roland.
He's so at one with the car. Clearly
Almost
doesn't,
4 seconds, yeah.
Need too much communication with his engineer from his previous radio message. But yeah, they're going to have to start informing him of where the pit boost window is, and that's going to be really interesting to see how Oliver and the team manage the pit boost window here.
Freeze also now in that pit boost window in 5th position as well. Expect to see quite a few drivers coming into that window over the next couple of laps or so, because as you can see, everybody in the top 10 but for Oliver Rowland has used that first attack mode deployment, so they've expended more energy in the early stages of the race. So it's Rowland that leads for Nissan, from Mortara for Mahindra, Buemi, the winner last time out in Monaco, for Envision in 3rd, ahead of Barnard in 4th, De Vries in 5th position in the 2nd of the Mahindras, who did a fantastic job keeping the likes of Barnard and Nato behind whilst they were in attack mode earlier on. And let's see what De Vries boxes at the end of this lap. No, he decides to carry on.
Fastest lap, Eduardo Mortara.
60 and 40% state of charge. He doesn't have to do it necessarily on this lap. He can wait another time and go again.
Mortara also benefiting now from having good visibility, and you just said fastest lap with 28.1, which is 2-3 tenths faster than what Roland did.
Oh no, Maximilian Gunter's
Gunther has stopped.
Yellow flag is out. That's down at turn
That's
13.
the number 7
It's not gonna be able to
Diaz
recover
Penske,
quickly.
last
If he can't
year's
get the
winner.
car going, that could be absolutely critical. We could get a full course yellow. Would that pay dividends for the likes of, I'm thinking, Nick De Vries, because he's in that pit boost window. He's allowed to take it either under a full course yellow or a safety car.
That's exactly what we were talking about. So if I would be him, I would go in there now.
Look at one of the Porsches.
Oh,
Red flag.
Out. So the race has been suspended then.
Why?
The car is red, we understand. Not the first time we've seen that. We had it with Jake Dennis back in Sao Paulo.
The rear tyre is just horrendous. Vibrating like hell. Zero combined potential.
Why are we under red flag?
It's totally different tyre set to practice.
Just because of, like, but it's not even raining.
Attention everyone. Sadly, we have a red car. We have a red car at the driver's left
Oh.
side at the entry of turn 15.
Okay, it's because of the car problem with Gunther, I think. I think we saw this in Sao Paulo with Jake Dennis. The car is currently in an unsafe operating manner.
So there's a light on the front of the cockpit of the car, just so everyone at home
Which
understands.
is so it's a rare circumstance, but it forces
electrically
this.
safe or not. It was red, I believe, when Max stopped. Now it's gone green. So yeah, that's a bit of a tough one for everybody, and a really tough one for Oliver Rowland and Edo Mortara.
Team radio.
Sorry, buddy. I was looking good. Okay. How's the reset? We don't think on our side it's gonna work actually. So.
What a shame there for Maximilian Gunter. 1 year on from his triumphant victory for Maserati. His race on Saturday ends, unfortunately, on lap 14. This has worked out quite nicely here for Stoffel Van Dorn.
Amazingly for Stoffel Van Dorn, actually.
Well, it doesn't take too long. I wanted to get some sleep before the Formula 3 race.
In the same group and everyone else is going to have to do a pit boost charge and lose.
I'm just gonna turn the light off. I don't need that.
Almost a minute. You're stationary to 35 seconds.
Yeah,
So
a minute,
it's
exactly.
Stoffel Van Dorn.
I can see the red light blinking on the front of and the nose of his car, right in front of the halo.
Small light in front of the halo there, so he definitely did have a red car, which, as we saw later on, did turn to green.
It's a dangerous situation there.
Throw the red flag. I mean, it makes perfect sense. It has to be done. It's unsafe situation.
Yeah, unsafe.
And, it's great that it's been resolved, but unfortunately, it was necessary.
But now we gotta wait.
So
Hopefully, it won't take too long.
Scenario then. So he's selling 21st at the moment, but he's made his pit boost stop. He's gained a net amount of time over. This is what happened for Nico Müller last time out in Monaco.
He was better than what happened to Nico Müller. He just needs to stay out of trouble now for the rest of this race, and he should be in with a great chance to take the victory.
And that was the strategy he opted, because he, during the safety car start at the beginning, he was the one that was probably burning the most of the energy and making his pit stop window sooner and banking on a neutralization later on with safety car, but I guess, or red flag. So yeah, it played out well for them.
Contrasting fortunes for Maserati. Jake Hughes just pulled in behind his teammate and had no front wing on his car, so he's clearly been in the wars.
He's only 2 places in front of Stoffel, and Stoffel's done his pit boost charge.
Yeah, exactly. Not a happy moment there for Jake Hughes for Maserati. Here, though, is Taylor Barnard inside the Neon McLaren garage. They've got the microfibers out to clear the visors, make sure the drivers have got as good a visibility as they possibly can. What goes to...
The cars are in parc fermé conditions right now, so the teams can't actually do too much to the cars. So they can clean the driver's visor, help him with his visibility, but they can't do any actual work on the car.
So they can't change the tyres, for example, with Nick Casti, because he was complaining about the rears?
No, and not unless they take the car into the box, but then he will start from the back when they do restart the race, which is not worth doing.
No, I was just looking where Casti is. He's 10th for the restart, so that's a loss of track time that you don't want to be doing, really.
No.
And I'm guessing we're going to see a standing start again?
Presumably so, yeah. It's up to the discretion of the race director. You could get a rolling or a standing.
Urgent.
So this...
Yeah, I've got a brake urgent alarm, red, and then no region, 82.
Yeah, okay, yeah, which is the same you got just before this all happened, right? I think. Okay.
So not good news at all there for Max Günther. Computer says no.
So having a bit of experience with this, what it can normally be is miscommunication from the inverter. So all the control systems are run through the car, and if the inverter can't communicate properly with the electronic motors to create the braking, they put that message up there to make sure that you brake and you stop the car as soon as possible in the safest way, and therefore you don't take any risk, not risking other people having a massive accident, things like that, because you're not properly in control of all the systems. So it's a bit of a system failure.
No, right now we're just waiting.
Where you try to recover the car in a safe way.
Again.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got the energy graphic there. We'll just have a look at Van Dorn here. So this is his pit boost. And you can see him there coming back out onto the track. So he was out of sync with everybody else, but this has really paid dividends and handed a golden opportunity into his hands, really, hasn't it?
Well, he did it beautifully, because as Andre mentioned, he was behind the safety car. He was burning as much energy as possible. We saw him sliding out of every corner, full throttle on the straights, really trying to burn through a lot of his state of charge. And then, let's hear from Oliver Rowland.
The only other car that I saw with the pit window open was the Vries.
I guess we'll do a standard start now, so then it'll be green from the start of restart. They won't be able to box.
Yeah, if we do a standing start.
To the standard start.
Yes. Confirm. I will check. I get your point.
I would imagine, in all likelihood, we're probably going to have a standing start, aren't we?
Well, but was he talking about doing the pit boost during the first lap or something on the start?
Well, if he's in the pit boost window, then he can do it. Obviously, if he's within that 60 to 40% state of charge, it's a possibility there for Rowland. You can see the fans that are watching on here this weekend, a lot of them in support of Nissan. No surprise at all, given the form of Rowland. And also Nato still in 4th place. He has used one attack mode, unlike his teammate. I suppose the disadvantage now for Rowland is that gap that he built out of, what was it, 3.7 seconds over Buemi before that red flag was thrown.
we are sending one car to be back in the same lap counter as the rest of you. And shortly we will present 5-minute signal, and I would like you to queue up behind safety car.
Sounds a little bit panicked there, does Marek Kaniszewski? Needs a bit of rescue remedy or something, just to nice cup of hot sweet tea or something.
It's a race for him as well to get things right.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So just having a look at the energy here, well, who do you think the big winners and losers are at this stage here, James?
Well, I mean, the big winner is Stoffel van Dorn, who is just in a phenomenal position, having burnt his state of charge, got himself in, done his pit boost. The rest of them, Oliver Rowland and Edo Mortara.
I think Nico Müller was on attack mode, and but he had only 1 minute left. I don't recall who was the other car, but there were only 2 cars on attack mode, which didn't benefit from the full time and potentially gaining like 3-4 seconds a lap in that moment.
I'm confused about Jake Dennis as well, because as you can see, he's consumed about 12% more than Furline in front of him directly. So I'm trying to work out what's going on there.
Didn't see the pit boost sign though.
So this is Stoffel van Dorn. He's out on the track here to basically bring him back onto the same lap as everybody else. Because he took that pit boost stop when he did, it's brought him out of sync. So he needs to now be in sync with everybody else. He'll start right at the back of the field, but as we know, he's got a net lead effectively because he's already taken that pit stop and expended that, 50 seconds of time in total, whereas everybody else has got to run it.
Yeah. So, yes, this is a great moment for him. I'm sure he's going to be very happy in the car with his strategy. He and the team have pulled an absolute masterclass here. I'm sure that the team principal, Cyril, will be very proud right now of the approach that they took to this race.
Yeah, no doubt about it there for Van Dorn. You can see he's pretty even on energy compared to the likes of Roland and Buemi at the sharper end of this race. See the cars in the pit lanes. Have some team radio from Roland here.
Most sock deficit are Frank and Dennis. They were...
That must be Stoffel as well, no? If he was able to pit.
Yeah, well, on this record he has more because he's completed the stop, obviously.
So, state of charge conversation going on between Roland and his race engineer there. Let's go down and catch up with Nikki and Katie as we wait for news as to exactly what is happening with the restart. We know it will get back underway. We know the grid order, but we don't know when the race will
so Van Dorn is actually on track. That's
Ready
interesting.
for the restart of this race here in Tokyo.
Thank you very much, Tom. Yeah, as you can see behind us, all 22 cars are lined up, raring to get racing again. But Katie, should we just quickly re-talk the frenetic start of the race that did happen to start from a standing start, which was brilliant to see. Oliver Rowland managed to capitalise on his pole position.
Yeah, it was quite a chaotic start, to be honest with you. I thought they were going to kind of take it a bit easier. We know it's a long race, we know it's wet conditions, but actually it was really elbow deep. And I think, Taylor Barnard had a great start there as well. Norman Nater did as well, but they kind of got squeezed and he ended up dropping back. You can see Debris out front as well. Sorry, Mortara out front as well. And then the pack split quite quickly. I think the visibility was obviously really low, but you can see cars trying to get into attack mode pretty early on. But Taylor Barnard, what a moment he had coming through at turn 16 to overtake. Now, I think that for me was one of the highlights of the start of the race, because that's the corner that most people watching from the sidelines will think, oh, you're quite nervous about, obviously, having that big moment there yesterday. But actually, I think that shows a true racer to do what he did, to try and pass around the outside at turn 16. It was a great moment from him in the McLaren.
It really was. I mean, how defiant, just, showing the track, actually, I'm not afraid of you anymore, and I am going to be on the podium today. You can tell he has got the podium on his sights. Let's take another look at that Barnard pass.
Yeah, you can see he's got the pace, he's got the confidence as well. I think that's the main thing in these conditions. Round the outside, he's not giving in. And there you can see just the snap of oversteer as well as he comes over the crest, but then he's obviously got the inside line into turn 17. So yeah, that was a masterclass by him. I'm sure the boys in the McLaren garage were really proud of that, because you can see how much it shook him up yesterday, that incident. You could hear it in his breath as well when he was sat in the car. So I think for him, him, he's proving his pedigree and why he's on this grid with the rest of the boys out here.
Absolutely, that final slide there, just to really make sure that Ian James's heart just sort of stopped for a moment there. But racing resumed, but not for very long. Let's talk about what happened to Max Günther's car. We can watch here on track. You can see now on the front cone, you can see a little light that will come on, and effectively, when that goes red, it means the car is live.
Yeah, it is, and it can come on for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it's obviously for safety reasons, they've got to check it out, but in this case, it wasn't anything urgent. He was obviously able to reset the car. Just hearing here.
Region 82.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Which is the same you got just before this all happened, right? I think. Okay.
So it's obviously an issue with the brake sensor or something there. I think he's been able to reset it because obviously the car then went green. But obviously that has changed the game. That red flag has changed the game. For a second there, it was yellow, and we were saying, oh, De Vries is going to be in with a good chance here because he was in the pit boost window. He just entered it. So we thought, actually, he's going to be able to come into the pits and then have the advantage. But then obviously with it going red, it's changed the game, and now it's looking in Van Dorn's favour.
Yeah, absolutely. And now the cars are slowly driving back
All
out
right,
to the
the
grid.
red
So
flag
we
has,
have
it
a
seems,
standing
potentially might.
restart.
All right, looks like the
Does
red
that
flag
play
will
into the
expire.
advantage, or I suppose the disadvantage of the likes of Oliver Rowland, who was already moving
you
ahead?
can
Well,
see how much he was trying to build his gap. He's obviously
They
trying
said
to
that
take
they're
advantage
gonna
of the visibility
go back
that he
out.
had
Right now, that's not
He's
happening.
not used to either of his attack modes either, so he was just pushing on. You can see how focused he was, telling his engineers as well not to speak to him while he was in the corner. It's understandable, and I think from his side, he's going to be obviously on the edge of his seat now because he knows the situation with Van Dorn, who's obviously gained such a massive amount of time now by that bunching. When you think the others are going to lose the best part of a minute in the pit boost window when they have to make that stop, he's done it.
Do you think we're going to suddenly see a lot of them come in to do their pit boost?
I think it depends. I think it depends how long it takes them to get into the window, because when the red flag came on, actually, I think only De Vries was in the window, so it depends how long that takes. Obviously, they're all going to have had a moment to regroup, so there's going to be a lot of strategy planning right now with the engineers across the garage.
Well, it is going to be a busy second half of the race, that's for sure. Let's go back to Tom Brooks in commentary.
Thank you very much indeed, Nikki. Thanks to Katie down there in pit lane as well. So action stations are plenty as we wait for the restart. Drivers now in the fast lane and ready to go out onto the track. So 14 laps out of 35 completed in this one here in Tokyo, and it's already been pretty fast and frantic, and we're not even at the halfway stage. I do not envy the officials of the FIA that have got to get this race sorted, and fair credit to them.
I need a safety car after this to beat him, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not paid.
I need a safety car after this to beat him, to be honest.
Not paid dividends there for Oliver Rowland, because he, of course, as we know, has still got those two attack mode deployments available. But his lead of, 4 seconds or so has been washed away now by this red flag.
Sure, but he also needs to be smart. He's leading the championship by a country mile, and if he can take second place, that is still a great result. I mean, Stoffel's rolled the dice here, and he's going to gain a huge amount from doing that. Now, if that is how you're going to win the race, then there's not much Oliver can do.
I think what's going to be interesting is that
Right,
if
Van Dorn is the
during
one who took the
initial
pit
lap
boost.
behind the safety car, some pit boost windows open.
Will they
1 minute,
follow it
1 minute signal.
down the pit lane?
1 minute to the race
and start
restart.
fast, but still gain from that time they've bunched up.
That's a good point. This will be exciting. I don't know if that's even possible.
Well, let's see what happens. 1 minute to go until the restart. There is Stoffel Van Dorn in the pit lane. Jake Hughes also ready to get this one back underway. He'll be right down in 21st place. So I assume the team have made some changes to that car, because he was minus a front wing, wasn't he, coming into this one? So they must have broken part thermic conditions, because Hughes was actually a couple of positions ahead of Van Dorn prior to the confirmation of the restart.
I'm sure, as Andre just mentioned, there must be some team members reading the rules frantically to find out if they can come in the pit lane and actually do their charge whilst the grid restart procedure is going on.
So the safety car peels on to the circuit.
Okay, come on, the red flag is lifted.
And now the race resumes under a safety car. So the race is now back underway, essentially, even though we are under neutral safety conditions, essentially. And you can see that Nick de Vries there still in that pit boost window, as it were. Nobody else in that at the moment. The only driver who's been able to get that done and out of the way is Stoffel Vandoorne, though he'll start right down at the back of the field. He has got a net advantage over everybody else at this stage.
So they can actually burn their SOC now on their outlap, burn a lot of the state of charge, and we could see quite a few drivers getting into that window. And as Andre mentioned, as the race is already resumed now, they should be able to come back in with a standing start. And actually, a standing start is going to be to the detriment of anyone who isn't in that charge window. So this is we're going to see some new strategies, I'm sure, around this over the next couple of minutes.
So there's a possibility that we won't see 21 cars lining up on the grid if they're able to get themselves into that state of charge window.
Well, the ones who would opt for that strategy would follow the safety car into the pits, do their pit boost charge, and then line up the pit exit, wait for the green lights, and then go at the end of the queue. But they'll be bunched up and have a minute advantage.
And you can only do one car per team at a time. You can't double stack the cars, so you have to favour one driver as well if you were going to pick that strategy.
So far eligible is De Vries, Evans, and Dennis. So they're all in. They don't have teammates to argue with at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's see how this is going to work out. I'm sure there are going to be some frantic calculations and stressful conversations going on the team radio as we wait for the restart of this race. So it'll be Roland from Mortara, then Buemi, who's up into third place. Roland, we think, is at a disadvantage because he has not used one of his attack modes. He was counting on basically taking the lead and having an advantage so that he was able to retain it when he got into that position. Now he's got to do all that hard work all over again with a fast-charging Mortara alongside him on the grid.
So De Vries has not gone into the pits.
Maybe it's not allowed. I don't know the rule.
But you're allowed to charge under safety car, and technically this is safety car. So, yeah,
the race has resumed, hasn't it? As soon as the cars exited out of the pits, the race is now back underway, essentially. We've just got either
that or Andre Lotterer should be the chief strategist of many of these teams in the future.
Well, these guys are quite smart at what they do, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Let's see. But so far, no one.
Getting in their stalls again.
So as it stands, then 20.
Some car. I just saw a car go in.
Dennis.
Jake Dennis in the number 27 Andretti.
Maybe they listen to me.
Yeah, maybe they are. Maybe they've got your commentary. Roger's got it.
I'm going to check after.
Invoice in the post, Andre.
Yeah, add that to your day rate. So then, 20 laps of action about to resume here in Tokyo, and a pit boost stop then for Jake Dennis. He's expended a lot more energy, though, compared to those around him, so I think he's going to have to save quite a bit. There is now a gap, of course, on the grid where the Briton should have lined
Now
up.
the car that was behind him.
Wait for the green flag to wave at the back. So the restart of this one, 20 laps of action until the checkered flag. Oliver Rowland on the left, Jake Dennis on the right-hand side.
All right, all 14 laps are completed. They're on the 15th lap. All right, lights out. Here we go. 21 to go. The last 60% of the race. Roland's holding on to the lead. They head into the first turn. It's Mortara in second. Buemi third. It's a part in fourth. Oh, 3 wide. And I was looking for a contact in one of those turns. Don't know how bad the damage is there. Nato has fallen back to, I think, the 6th or 7th position. Fighting with Robin Frines. Looks like Nato will get to 6th. Well, it's not the start of the race. Anyway, Jake Dennis did finish his pit boost and is now back on track. And he took attack mode as well. 2 minutes.
He wants to try and close that deficit down to everybody else in front of him as much as he possibly can whilst they're all bunched up on this restart.
Yeah, very smart move there from Dennis and the Andretti team. It looks like they could end up with the podium here.
Roller with a big snap of oversteer there through turn 15, manages to keep it facing in the right direction and keeps it out of the wall, but he knows he needs to push on as much as he possibly can going through these first couple of laps to build out an advantage, to give himself that window of opportunity to hold on to the lead when he takes attack mode. Dennis is under investigation for entering pit lane while it was closed. So was the pit lane closed once the safety car came in? Has he got a penalty on his way?
Was there a red line?
Dennis under investigation, entering pit lane while it was closed. So that was for when he tried to get his pit boost before they went back to green. We're now down to 20 to go. Mitch Evans on pit road for his pit boost.
To the pits for his stop then. He's still got one attack mode deployment left there as well. Fright is now in the window as well as the Freeze. They have not decided to pit at the end of the restarted opening lap of this race under racing conditions. So maybe they'll go next time around, but teams can only pit one driver per team per time. They may not double stack. So who gets priority and how do they work this out? Down through into turn 9.
Jake Dent. No, never mind.
So we'll need you to tell me when dash is green, mate.
Window should be open. It'll be open at the end of this lap.
So Evans there in his pit boost window and in the stop and in the garage at the moment. He'll be coming out of the pit lane at the end of these 34 seconds and resuming the race. Roland is now in the window. Mortara is also in the window as well. So let's see how this is going to work out. Roland is still trying to build out an advantage, but is he going to go in at the end of this lap, do you think?
I would stay out a little bit longer. The track's clear, and if you get a full course yellow, you're going to be massively gaining an advantage. So, I mean, there's no reason to dive into the pit lane at this moment.
And he doesn't do so. He carries on. Don't forget to vote for your PIF driver of the race. Scan the QR code on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. So Roland building out a buffer over Edo Mortara. De Vries in for Mahindra then. So they've decided to box him from the top 5.
So the only reason now to come in soon for Oliver Roland is the fact that the others could start pushing on and take attack mode.
Exactly what Roland's done.
Yeah, so he's managing his risk here.
Let me know, should I box up?
Roland takes his first 4 attack mode minutes. Mitch Evans took 4 minutes. Robin Frines takes 4 minutes. He's the first driver out of attack mode. Well, actually, Evans will be. De Vries on pit road for his pit boost.
Big a gap as he possibly can for when he comes into the pit lane, because that gap should, in theory, stay the same when he exits.
Yeah, he should be able to gain 2, maybe 3 seconds a lap now that he's in the attack mode over the chasing pack, and that will give him a good buffer to come in, make his pit boost charge, and get back out still in the lead, or at least fighting Van Dorn for the lead of this race.
Yeah, Van Dorn in 17th at the moment, but still only 16 seconds off the lead. Sounds like a lot, but given the fact that he's not going to make that pit stop. Oh, Dennis is into some strife here. Oh no, he's coming at the pit lane, I beg your pardon. I thought he'd gone off onto the escape road, so he's just coming back into the race. But we saw that he was under investigation for entering the pit lane while it was closed. Still no update on that, according to our timing screen. As we look at Robin Freitz in all-wheel drive, attack mode at the moment, 350 kilowatts of power compared to the usual 300, and Roland really pushing on now with his attack mode. Set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:27.837. That was a second quicker than Mortara last time around, even despite going through that attack mode, which cost you about a second and a half or so.
No, superb performance from Ollie in this attack.
All right, pit boost for Taylor Barnard.
Virtually now, normally, Van Dorn should be ahead by 40 seconds if there's no neutralization after everyone would have done their pit boost.
Yeah, that is the risk, isn't it, for Van Dorn, is that he could get nerfed by a full course yellow, a safety car.
Robin Frines also took the same amount of time that Roland did, so I guess 4 minutes. Well, actually, no. Or yes. All right, after this lap's completed, we'll be halfway through the race. It's a 35-lap race. We're on the 18th. All right. I think Barnard gets going again. There's Norminato on pit road, getting his pit boost.
Who's made his pit boost charge, and then you can see the other ones in green who have done their pit boost charge as well. All the others are in their pit boost window, but are yet to take their charge.
What about Norminato as he comes out of the pit lane? That's behind Nick De Vries, so that's pretty much net where they were going into the stop. How much clear track have they got in front of them? Yeah, they're looking okay. It's got about 1.7, 1.8 seconds to Mitch Evans. There is Mitch Evans just up the road at the moment. Roland continuing to pound round and set in fastest lap. He's now down into the 1:26. That was a second and a half quicker than Edo Mortara last time around. Freitz now gets the fastest lap. He goes into the 1:25. Track conditions, of course, improving all the time. No rain falling and quite strong winds. So this circuit now beginning to dry out and get ever faster as these drivers continue to move that.
I mean, the cars are very spread out right now, which doesn't surprise me given the much more treacherous conditions. As they run right, the tick zone just took 6 minutes, his final attack mode. Oliver Roland is the leader. Eduardo Mortara is second. Sebastian Buemi is third. Robin Frines is in fourth. Fifth place, John-Eric Verne. Sixth. Oh my God. Mitch Evans and Nick DeVries. Like DeVries, ran into Mitch Evans. He got him sideways, and his back hit the wall. That was close. My fifth was yeah. So Verne was now it's up to Robin Friends and Jean-Eric Verne and David Beckman have all hit the pit road to go for their attack mode. No, not the attack mode. Their pit boost. And okay, Roland ran out of boost from attack mode and has now set the fastest lap. There we go. Okay, so Roland is the leader. Eduardo Motar is second. Buemi's third. Franz is fourth. I'll wait for that to go through again. Roland, Mortar, Buemi. Antonio Felix da Costa is fourth. Dan Ticktum is fifth. Sixth is Robin Friends. Seventh is John-Eric Verne. Eighth is Zane Maloney. Ninth is Sam Bird. 10th is Nico Muller. Oh, and there's the penalty from earlier. So Jake Dennis tried to get a jump on the group, get his pit boost before the green flag. Nope. Oh, black flag. He's done. Done. That's equivalent to disqualification.
First sector. This is where the circuit now begins to open up. A lot of different surface changes on this track, including this red tarmac.
15 to go. See, DaCosta has a minute and a half. Ticktum has 3.5. Sambird is 10.5. Barnard has 45 seconds.
Absolutely. What about Dan Ticktum? What's he going to be able to do in this race? He's in fifth position at the moment. Hasn't made his stop for pit boost energy in this one for the time being. So Degrassi is in. Dennis is in to retire from this race following that black flag. And now we wait to see how this is going to work out. Whereabouts is DaCosta going to emerge in this one as well? Hasn't been a particularly brilliant race for Tag Heuer Porsche so far.
All right. Okay. Dennis is. Oh, they're showing Dennis going back into the garage. Lucas Degrassi is now getting his attack mode. Vorline took 6 minutes. Nico Muller took 4. So those are the new updates.
Given where they were, though, they had to risk something on the race.
Yeah, definitely it was worth a try. But if it's written quite clear in the rules, then it's quite a strong mistake because it's the first time that actually I see a black flag.
Yeah, first time in a long time, certainly. Yeah.
Not a great year for Andretti, frankly. Not in at least not in Formula E.
Let's see if we can spot that red light on pit entry now. We're on board. It's going to peel off into the pit lane. Is there a red light?
Yeah,
well, it's definitely not. It's probably written in the rules somewhere.
Not the same way.
The team will scratch their head about that.
It'll be interesting to know where the
looking for a specific light in the pit lane that doesn't seem to be there.
Well, that's normal.
But that's pit exit is red. So if he went through the pit exit red, different.
14 to go. Those last 40% of the race.
There's no red light. Maybe there's something they need to introduce because now with the pit stops, it's something that we have in endurance in the race format. So definitely would be good to have.
Well, a shame there for Jay Dennis either way, and for the Andretti team, a missed opportunity here this afternoon. Ticktum, we watch him with attack mode at the moment, still hasn't made his stop. So
see, Lucas Degrassi, David Beckman took 4 minutes.
Back into play in the latter stages of this race once those stops have all worked out. What we reckon Van Dorn is in the penalties. Just to remind you, if you have just joined us, there was a red flag earlier on. Van Dorn had just made his pit boost stop at the right time, which has essentially given him a net lead of about 30 to 40 seconds, we reckon, over the rest of the field, because once the restart took place, he was, of course, right back in contention rather than being the amount of time he would have been behind otherwise. So
So the top 10 now hasn't done their pit boost, and they're all hoping on a neutralization, so they would minimize the track time.
Yeah, so, okay. 10th and 12th place Jake Hughes. First through 10th and Jake Hughes in 12th, trying to make their engines last as long as possible.
Closes, so they do need to make that happen over the course, I think, of the next 3-4 laps.
There's going to be a flurry of activity in the pit lane coming up over the next couple of moments, aren't there? Roland's been able to build
13 to go.
over Edo Mortara to 4.1.
Wait, what's the gap now?
So he's done as much as he possibly can.
4 and 3/8 seconds. Mitch Evans now on pit road trying to fix the car and then send him out for as long as, well, what's left. Because he ain't advancing position, that's for sure.
Yeah, the team were telling him that there was an alarm from the gearbox, so clearly that gearbox took a heavy impact with the wall. So yeah, that's a real shame for them, and hopefully
There's DaCosta getting his
continue using that powertrain for the rest of the season.
his pit boost.
Difficult weekend so far for Jaguar TTS Racing. Not that they wanted to be on the grid courtesy of qualifying being cancelled and their FP2 positions not being great. It's been an uphill struggle from there as DaCosta exits the pit lane. Where's he in relation to the rest of the field? He's got a nice bit of clear track in front of him now, but no attack mode deployment.
Don't lie, it almost feels like I'm watching time trials of just how spread out the field is. It's weird.
Too badly there for him either.
Gap minus 2.1. We should cover. Check dash orange.
So Roland now into the pits as well as Edo Mortara at the start of lap
12 to go.
From what I understand,
Roland finally comes in for pit boost.
Who they're racing for. Barnard's been setting some very fast laps. I've been keeping an eye on his lap times, and he's been closing the gap to Stoffel Van Dorn.
Eduardo Mortara gets his pit boost. It's like his pit boost, though, is gaining a little faster than Roland's. Another pit boost being given, this time to Sam Bird. Alright, Mortara has enough. I think he's been let go. Meanwhile, we got Roland peeling off as well.
He had enough of an advantage over Mortara to be quite comfortable. But what about the rest of the field? Have they been able to use whatever track time they had to their advantage? Here comes Mortara out of the pit lane. It's going to be behind Taylor Barnard.
Ooh, so Barnard leapfrogged Eduardo Mortara. That should probably put him in second.
And clearly making up some good ground.
But Mortara's got an attack mode deployment left, so that could pay dividends for him, because if it's about 3-4 seconds or so at the gap between them, he could use that to his advantage later on.
Now you see Van Dorn is ahead of Roland.
Yeah, so Van Dorn has been able to cycle through. It's working out nicely, and he's got an attack mode deployment. He's larping all the way to the bank at this point in the race, is Stoffel Van Dorn.
There's about 25, 26 seconds in the lead of this race as the pit leader.
All right, Sebastian Buemi. Like he's getting his pit boost. I keep track of what's been done and what hasn't been yet. Right now, the current attack modes are Vorline with 30 seconds, Nick Cassidy with 3 minutes, DeVries with 5.5 minutes. We have 11 laps to go. Dan Ticktum is currently the leader. Top 7 cars have yet to cycle back behind the leader, Oliver Roland. I'm certain Buemi will fall behind that once he's finished with his stuff.
Cassidy and Verline up the road now in their attack modes. Verline's about to be coming to the end of it, and Buemi about to be exiting out of the pit lane then here. And where is the Swiss driver going to emerge? So there goes Roland through.
All right, Roland and Barnard get ahead of Buemi. Can he beat Can Buemi beat Mortara? It's going to be close. No, Mortara will take what I'd say is provisional 3rd place. Top 6 have yet to pit. Although, the interesting thing about this is that one of the cars that did not pit was Stoffel Van Dorn. Van Dorn took his pit boost right before the Gunther red flag. He also has once attack mode to go, just like Oliver Roland, which might give him a bit of an advantage. All right, Dan Ticktum in to pit. It's been a while since Stoffel Van Dorn has won a race. Yeah, I believe he hasn't won since Monaco 2022, I think it was his last win. Anyway, 10 laps to go. Right, Muller is in for pit boost, so that means Pascal Vorline is the new leader.
Because those two still owe their pit boost stops. So exiting out of the pit lane then is now Dan Ticktum. Hughes also in the box there as well. But look at Van Dorn, he's now cycling his way up through to third place for Maserati MSG. And once Verline and Cassidy are through, he is going to have a
All right.
advantage. 25 seconds he is ahead.
Jake Hughes to pit road.
The only thing that could influence the race now is if there is an accident or neutralization, then Verline and Cassidy are in a very good position because they
now an unfortunate circumstance for Barnard. Barnard has no attack mode left, while Van Dorn and Roland have 4 minutes. Mortara has 6 minutes. So Van Dorn might be able to hold off Roland, although Roland is just so fast. Maybe he makes it up, while Mortara with 2 extra minutes could just plow through and steal a win for himself. I don't think he's won since 2021, 2022. Hold on, probably 2022. I think then he was starting for Venturi. Yes, I'm right.
Or an incident, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the last of the South Korea race in 2022, the second one. All right, a 5-second time penalty for Sam Bird for not following race director's instructions. Vornline has hit pit road. We have 9 to go. Vornline getting his pit boost. I mean, let me check this. The gap from Van Dorn to Roland is about 20 seconds. All right. Yeah, 9 to go. All right, Vornline completes his service. Nick Cassidy is the only driver that has not taken his pit boost. Vornline comes out in 13th.
Bird keeping a watching brief on proceedings behind there as well, but he's got a 5-second penalty, as we know as well. A crunch of carbon fibre through that first sector. And let's see whether Verline is going to have anything left in his locker to try and get himself back.
Let me see if we can get a couple points. That's the next question.
Let's have a look here at Stoffel Van Dorn. So we know that he has got a nice, comfortable cushion over the rest of the field, but has he made a mistake down into the first corner? A few drivers have gone deep, and he went deep there as well.
Not too much of a time.
Oh, no, he spun it.
Ooh.
He spun it at turn 2.
Van Dorn spun, got it going again, but his lead over the next driver was so large, it didn't impact him all that well. Okay, Nick Cassidy has hit pit road. Van Dorn is the leader. The gap is 19 and a half seconds.
Roland's still got a chance then. Yeah, Cassidy's in his pit boost stop then here as well. Where's he going to emerge in relation to Pascal Verline? What was the in-light lap there for Nick Cassidy? Not bad from him, but not brilliant there either. Be touch and go between the two.
I doubt Roland will be able to catch Van Dorn if Van Dorn is not making any mistakes.
Here's Cassidy versus Verline then. Side by side they go. Is Cassidy been able to cycle ahead?
Nick Cassidy ended up in 12th place, just ahead of Pascal Vorline.
It'll be Nico Müller who's right up the road, but of course Müller doesn't have an attack mode deployment remaining. Cassidy has got 4 minutes, 2 minutes greater duration than Pascal Verline, so that's nice for Cassidy there. He's done as much.
We have 8 laps to go now, by the way. No, that's not fastest lap. That's penalty to Sam Bird. Looking at this leaderboard, fastest lap is Dan Ticktum with a 1:23.735. So, 1 in the third, 8 laps. No, so I think this race will be over in just over 10 minutes. I can get maybe a half-hour rest before Formula 3.
Well, there's actually a good possibility he could win a Formula E race with the largest ever winning margin in Formula E. He goes in for his final attack mode.
All right, Van Dorn getting attack mode. We have 7 laps to go. The last 20% of the race. He has 29% power, and that's something I didn't think about. We might see extra laps.
So, Nick, there is a chance that there will be no more rain. It looks fairly likely there'll be no more rain for the rest of the race.
Well, I didn't think there was going to be any more rain. Maybe they think
Must
the
be
wet,
just
the
the
wet,
ears of the
wet the
drivers. It was
water will
something
dry up.
definitive, though, did it?
There's actually a big disparity between a lot of the cars and their energy. Van Dorn's at 28% when you compare to something like Antictum's at 32 and Nick Cassidy's at 39.
Well, it was wetter than a submarine with screen doors earlier
David
on
Beckman
in
is
the
also
race,
on his
but
final
things
attack mode,
dried
4
out a little bit
minutes.
towards the end of this race. Van Dorn with his final attack mode deployment underway then. 3 minutes, an extra 50 kilowatts of power, and all-wheel drive will be music to the ears for both him and for Maserati.
Yeah, it will be. And I wonder if he took that attack mode to try and get himself back in the zone, get his focus back on point, because, you know, sometimes you get a little bit distracted, a little bit complacent. It was such a large lead in a race. And by taking that attack mode, having
6
to
to
push for 3
go.
laps, having the full drive, rebalance.
We are ISO SOP to Van Dorn, 2% less than Barnard, Mortara, Buemi behind.
Tell you the driver who you want to keep an eye on is Eden Mortara, as well as also Sebastian Buemi, because they are only a couple of seconds down the road from Barnard and Roland, but they have got one attack
All right.
deployment.
Time check again. Gap is 18.8 seconds. Going down, but not nearly enough for Roland to go for his 4th win of the season in the 8th race.
6 minutes, but he's currently lapping 1 second a lap faster than them, which would suggest to me that...
Anyway, you notice again Mortara catching. I didn't consider the margins. Mortara is about 4 seconds behind. Oh, and it looks like that he will take attack mode.
Buemi also could be a threat for Barnard. He still has
I'm gonna actually let me see if I can reload the stream real quick. The on my the Roku channel stream. Okay, I think I gained some time.
defend that, but yeah, I'm really impressed by the strategy that Maserati took with burning all the sock and being able to have the luck to use this situation.
So Barnard's now right on the back of Oliver Roland, but Roland's still got 4 minutes of attack mode left to deploy. He's got about, well, what do you reckon there? 3, maybe 2 more opportunities to deploy it, to get 4 minutes out before the end of this race with 4 laps now remaining?
They'll take it on the next lap, yes. Next lap for 4 minutes. Mortara's taken his 6 minutes this lap.
There's this best battle. It's still raging for second. Eduardo Mortara is getting closer. I think he'll get second place. No, I mean it's the Rollins. That will be the hard part because he still has 4 minutes of attack mode. I'm surprised he's been able to remain cogent for so long. Normally by this hour I'd be a incomprehensible mess. 5 laps to go here in Tokyo.
Roland into attack mode also in the closing stages of it. You called it perfectly, James.
Yeah, well, with the laps and the amount of time going, they had to take it then. Otherwise, we were going to see a repeat of Miami, which no one wanted to see. So yeah, good to see them pushing the limit, making sure...
Taylor Barnard takes second place. Roland side by side. He gets him back on a straightaway part. Mortara is still a bit of ways behind. Oh, I see what happened. Roland, I didn't see it originally. Roland took attack mode, so he fell back behind, but now with the superior speed, it gets ahead of Barnard and will stay that way for the rest of the race. Sebastian Buemi also took his final attack mode. Both Roland and Buemi took 4 minutes. Alright. The gap right now seems to be 20 and a half seconds.
So he's definitely in with a shot here to take Taylor Barnard and get that podium.
4 laps to go, unless we get extra laps.
No, I don't think we're going to see anyone running out of energy or maximising the energy consumption of this race. It's been too wet in the first part of the race to use all of it.
So Sebastian Buemi's not far out of this one either. He's only about a second and a half down the road from Eden Mortara. So keep an eye out for the Swiss driver. He's got an opportunity here to try Marty a victory in Monaco 2 weeks ago.
7 laps to go at the line.
And Connor Somerville, his race engineer there, saying across the timing line, 7 laps to go then in this one. According to our graphic,
3, no, not yet. See, I guess they are getting incomprehensible because I'm misreading a number. We're still at 4 to go.
So we've just had confirmation that we've got 3 added laps at the end of this race.
3 added laps. Okay, so we're going to 38 laps, which means that we are currently on 7 to go. I'm not going to get any sleep for the next race. Damn it.
All over the gearbox here of the Mahindra. He's bringing himself right back into play and possibly bringing himself into position.
All right, Buemi to the inside of Eduardo. No, Nick DeVries. No, let's wait. Sorry, Buemi to the inside of Eduardo Mortara for 4th place.
I wonder if he's got a derating issue where he can't.
Oliver Roland sets the fastest lap. So that is, so he said actually no, the new fastest lap, which will come in just a minute, is rookie Zane Maloney with a 1:23, a 4:68. Thinking about fastest lap, the first fastest lap of the year was set by rookie David Beckman. And I think Zane Maloney would be the 2nd rookie of the year. I don't believe Barnard has a fastest lap yet.
Won't be possible in 1 minute left of attack mode.
No, so on board we ride here with Dan Ticktum. Is he sniffing a possible top 5 here from Edo Mortara as well? Because Mortara is slowing quite dramatically here.
Yeah, Ticktum's really closing in, and Ticktum doesn't have attack mode, so Mortara must have a fairly sizable issue here this stage of the race. And Ticktum's putting in some great laps. He's really charging through. It's very impressive.
Fastest lap. Yeah, Barnard does not have a fastest lap yet.
Mortara has an issue with his attack mode, potential derate.
Oh, so that's interesting. So they were talking about it because. Anyway, we now have 5 to go. Lap 34. So anyway, Eduardo Morto problem with his attack mode. Thankfully, I don't think anyone behind him has any more attack. Oh, but Ticktum's actually closing in a bit. That would be for 5th place. Roland runs out of attack mode. New fastest lap by Sebastian Buemi. Buemi's out of attack mode. And okay, so 1:22.817 was the lap set by Buemi. The current delta from Roland to Van Dorn is 14.5 seconds.
Through the left-hander of turn 4. This is where Mortara should have activated attack mode, but clearly a technical problem for him in the Mahindra that he's managing at the end of this race, costing him this opportunity. And can Ticktum do anything to get himself inside the top 5? Other drivers also in attack mode at the end of this one. Byrne, Cassidy, Sam Bodie's got that 5-second penalty, as well as Norman Nato and Lucas de Grassi.
And I thought I was P3, I'm completely out of touch.
It's Van Dorn because he got the cheap attack, the cheap pit stop.
All right, more drivers have taken attack mode to finish their stuff off. 4 minutes for Jean-Eric Verne, 4 for Nick Cassidy, 4 for Sam Berg, 2 I think for Norman Nato, and 2 for Lucas de Grassi. We're now on 4 laps to go. Race will be done in less than 7 minutes or so. Wait.
Yeah, I wonder what that message
Maybe
was for,
yeah, less than 7 minutes.
I
Maybe at a half hour before the Formula 3 race. At least those are like 45 minutes long. And they're full of action, so hopefully they'll keep me awake. I haven't gotten no sleep.
No surprise at all there for him, because there's no point taking unnecessary risk, given the advantage he's got over Ollie Rowland.
No, with the mistake we've already seen him make, 14 seconds with 5 laps to go is massive. So he just needs to bring this one home, take it nice and easy. As you said, no mistakes at all.
And for Rowland as well, this is a great job for him. 2nd place, again, it's just the consistency that he's just racking up these podiums after podiums, maybe not finishing on the top step quite as much as he may desire, but this is what wins a Drivers' World Championship. He's going the right way about it.
Yes, and his main contenders are Da Costa in P7 and Verline in 13, so he's going to build another gap in the championship again.
Yeah, that's been a bit of a disappointing race for Pascal Verline outside of the points. Look here, though, at
Who has 2nd in points? I think it's Da Costa. So Roland will get 20 points for 2nd. Da Costa will get 6 points for 7th, a 14-point gain so that'll be a 60-point lead, a 62-point lead for Oliver Roland, which is over 2 races worth. All right, 3 laps to go. So far this year, we've had 4 different winners. We had Sam Bird to start the year. No, we had Mitch Evans to start the year for Jaguar. Oliver Rowland won in Mexico. Yeah, he won in Mexico. In Riyadh, for the Diriyah ePrix, I believe that was Pascal Vorline who took the win. Then we went to Saudi Arabia hold on a minute. I'm getting my races mixed up. We did not go to Diriyah. The races 3 and 4. Jeddah. Roland won his second race. And Gunther also won a race. So then that's 3 winners. Race 5. Ooh. The battle that's the battle for 9th between Jean-Eric Verne and Robin Freins. Vernes has the attack mode, able to make the pass and is skirting away. Race 5. Homestead, won by Vorline, the 4th different winner. Monaco. Roland wins his 3rd race of the year, and then Buemi wins his 1st in 6 years. So that's 5 winners we've had so far. We might have 6. We now have 2 laps to go. The leader at 6% energy. His delta right now looks to be around 11 seconds. It's slipping, but I think he'll probably hold on. See, a lap car. Jake Hughes is a lap down. So he'll have Van Dorn will have his teammate playing interference for him.
We're now down to 12 seconds between himself and Oliver Rowland. There's 1 lap to go at the end of this one, and this is going to feel like the longest lap.
There's the battle for their 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, all within the same zip code as each other. Barnard on track for, I think, his 4th podium of the year.
Buemi's challenge has faltered somewhat on Taylor Barnard. We expected it to do so. He's right behind Rowland, so all that Buemi can hope.
Just double checking. Yeah, this would be his 4th podium after 3 consecutive races out of the points. This will be good. Although they're struggling for energy. Rowland's at 3%. Barnard's at 3%. Buemi's at 4%. Anyway, white flag is out. Last lap in Tokyo. Keep looking at this battle for 2nd, but over 10 seconds ahead of them, the leader is on cruise control.
Pensive faces in the Nissan garage. Here, Ivan Espinosa, the Nissan CEO, watching on, and I'm sure if we stuck a heart rate monitor on him, it'll be right up there because he can see Rowland with 2% worth of energy left at this one. Close with Taylor Barnard behind. Through the 1st sector we go, and Barnard trying to find a way through and almost into the back there of Oliver Rowland as we come through into the fastest part of the circuit then, into turn 9. You can't
Alright, that battle for 2nd still ongoing, although I don't think Rowland is going to lose a position readily. I don't know how well these cars can really pass without attack mode.
I do think he's going to have to lift before turn 16, and I
Been an okay race though.
On a very difficult corner.
Just less action-packed. Well, there's a slip up there from Taylor Barnard. Wonder if that will cause Buemi to get a run coming to him. But meanwhile, car number 2, ahead of all the chaos. A shrewd strategy call is going to see his 1st win in 3 years. Stoffel Van Dorn wins the Tokyo ePrix number 1 in 2025. It's his 4th career victory. The 6th different winner in 8 races.
Every race but one this season. And now he takes his 1st victory since Monaco 2022. Andre, the radio's clear.
Alright, and that does it for the Formula E Tokyo ePrix. I'll try to get a little shut-eye, but in 1/2 hour, the lower series for Formula 1 will make their run at Imola. Thanks to everyone who showed up for this very late stream. Hope to see you for the other ones. BowserJrXD signing off. Have a good night.